Welcome back everybody to another episode of Mid-Valley Mercenaries. Today we have taxidermy. So we're here with my good buddy Travis. You've seen him in the hunting videos. He's a taxidermist, professional taxidermist. He's licensed and he's got a Facebook. If you guys want to check him out, Grasslands Taxidermy of California, you can see his work. He does awesome work, guys. Travis really does top of the line work, so check him out. You will not be disappointed, and we're going to follow him along. You won't see me anymore. I just wanted to do an opening to this series of taxidermies, so we're going to do a Ross goose that my brother shot in Canada. If you guys want to see that video after this is done, you can check it out right up here. I'm sorry, right here. You can check it out right here. I'll put the card there to that. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel down below. You guys won't be disappointed. We have lots of videos, lots of things to come. Anyways, let's get to work.
Alright guys, like Titus said, we're going to be mounting a Ross goose. But first I want to talk about field carry. You're out there and you're hunting and you shoot that trophy bird and you want to keep it nice for the taxidermist. And the taxidermist will really appreciate it. The nicer you keep that bird, the better it's going to work out. First thing I want to talk about is what not to do. First of all, if you shoot that bird, a lot of people say, oh, wrap it in pantyhose. You do not want to put it in pantyhose. A lot of times what happens is if there's blood on the bird, it's going to stick to the feathers. And then when you go to take the pantyhose off, you can lose feathers. Don't shrink wrap it. With shrink wrapping, I've seen it put indentions into the feathers of the bird, and that can be permanent. Here we have a Ross goose that we're going to be mounting. If you don't have a bag big enough, you can always put it in a black trash bag, seal it up really tight, get the air out of it. That works fine. What I like to do personally is I go to the 99-cent store. You can get 5 of these. I believe they're 2 or 2.5 gallon Ziploc bags. You can put your bird inside that bag. Just stick it in there and zip it up. Squeeze the air out and you can freeze that joker. Alright guys, I'm rolling up my sleeves for this part. So what we've done is we've taken that Ross goose and we placed it into soapy water. I use Dawn soap, works really well. You can see it floating in here. We got a lot of blood on this bird, but all this stuff can come off. Some birds, when they fly down, they get rust on them from the water that's here in California or wherever there's like minerals in the water. This is a white bird and we want to get it as white as possible. Some people like to leave the rust on there. If you do that, that's fine. But I want to show you something real quick that will get this rust off the bird. So this is a product called Iron Out. You can buy this at Walmart. I found this at Tractor Supply. They had a really good deal on it and I bought a couple of them, but I've had it for a long time. It goes a little bit, goes a long way. And what I would do is after I've skinned this bird out, I would take and put about a capful in here, pour it directly onto the feathers, leave it there for about 10 to 15 minutes, and this bird will be snow white. So what we're going to do next is we're going to get the soap out of this bird. We're going to run a water hose in here and get all the soap out, and then I'm going to show you how to start skinning and fleshing it. No, can't retrieve him yet.
What is that?
What is it, boy? Right now I'm just getting all the soap out of here. This thing will be as white as these feathers right here. Alright guys, next we're going to start skinning out this bird. When you start skinning out, I usually start with the head. You want to have a very sharp knife. I just got a brand new scalpel. I use these scalpel surgical blades. Bought them on eBay. What I like to do is I like to smooth these feathers out. I usually start right here in the middle and follow the contour of the bill. Just making little cuts. I think it's important to take your time on this part. You can see it start to separate from the bill here. A very critical area is right here at the corners. A lot of times when I first started, I would cut too far and make a cut through here and would have trouble adapting the skin to my artificial head. So we've went along the edge here and we've now reached the part where when you open the mouth, that little flap of skin meets the beak. I usually, like this, you can see it's very difficult to cut there. So I'll just open up his bill, kind of stretch it out a little bit, and cut right through that little membrane. There's a little notch right here. You don't want to cut it straight across, but you want to follow that. Come to this corner. And that'll free that up right there. You can flip it over and do the other side. You can see there's transition from that skin to the feathers, and you just want to cut along that edge right there, just like you're tracing. You can see I'm just gently pushing the skin away from the bill. And everything's loose, which is good. Next we're going to move on to skinning this bird out with the belly incision, and we'll come back to the head in a little bit. There's lots of different ways to skin out your bird. I'm going to show you the method that I learned, and it works easiest for me. What I do is I fill inside of here, and I start separating the feathers, kind of where that notch is. I just run my thumbs in there and just work the feathers apart. What you're going to start feeling is you're going to start feeling this bird's breastbone. And basically I'm going to follow that breastbone all the way down to the anus. And it's really easy when you're coming up here to follow this bone down. But of course that bone's going to end at some point. And so you're going to have to just try to keep as straight as line as possible. Alright, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to take my knife. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right up here where that little notch is. Basically right about here. I'm going to come down up and cut down to the anus. And I'm not going to cut through the ring here. Some people go all the way through the ring. I like to leave a little thing there. It seems to make the skin stronger. I don't go all the way through the ring. You can do that later on and just sew it up. I usually just try to leave a little skin in there. So you can see now I got my incision here. I cut through the meat, which is not a big deal. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to gently pull and just start going right along the edge of that skin, separating the skin from the body. And you can see it's coming apart. Alright, we're coming to the leg. I just want to show you something real quick. There's like a little piece of membrane on there. You can pull this back and just cut along the edge of the skin. That will free that membrane up along there. Alright guys, one of the things that's really important in taxidermy is borax. Borax also helps secure the skin, but also gives you grip when you're skinning this thing out. And what you can do is I just take a little bit, put it on my fingers. You can put it on the bird. And sometimes what you can do instead of using your knife, you can just take your finger and gently work it down in here. And just feel, and you can feel that membrane in there. And what I'm doing is just kind of pushing that membrane away from the skin, kind of freeing this up. Instead of spending time just trying to cut it with my knife, sometimes I'll use my fingers. So we've skinned down so you can see where the neck meets the body here. What you want to do is you want to take this, hold it with your thumbs, kind of tilt your bird up on its hind end, kind of just pull that skin back. You can see that it exposes the neck here. What I'll do is we're going to take something and cut right here, flush with the body. Free that neck up, cut through the trachea, and that'll allow us to pull this head and neck out and help get the body out. Right along here there's a tendon that attaches to the bone. You want to be really careful right here and gently cut along this area. I'm not the fastest person in the world at skinning birds out. I like to take my time and reduce the number of holes that I put in my bird. Now we're going to be separating this wing from the body. What I do is I take my finger, it's like stick it underneath its armpit, and I work until I get my finger to the other side. You can see my finger sticking out. The bone attaches right in here. So very carefully, you don't want to cut your hand. I'll just take this and cut right along there. Make sure that we're not cutting any skin. And we're just going to free up this wing. Feel the ball joint underneath there. And we've separated that wing from the body there. You can see it's detached. Down here at the legs, kind of like underneath the armpit, I take my finger, I insert it through here. Take my hand, the bone attaches right here on the body. Just curl that thing up. I'm going to take my knife, run along the edge, and free your leg up. We're down here where the tail, basically the tail is, and the quills are here. But we're going to free up this from the body. So I just take these little clippers, just clip right there, kind of pull that apart. And then I'll continue to work through this right here and free this body up from this bird. Alright, we got it separated. Here's the body that was inside of there. We're going to skin out the legs, the wings, and take the head out and the neck. Right now we're separating the legs. We're just cutting along here. I'm gently pulling with this hand and going right along the legs. Alright, we're going to pull this wing out here. Once again, borax is a nice little thing. I just grab it and start pulling this down until we get to the elbow. Once I get to the elbow, I turn it over. I'm resting the bone on the table, and you can use your finger, and what I'm doing is I'm stripping the primaries from the bone with my thumb. I'm just working that down. And where I'm going to is basically where your wrist is at. So I get down to the wrist right there. And what we'll do is we'll cut out all these tendons, all this meat. Basically all we're gonna have here is a bone there and 2 bones here, and all this is gonna be gone. What I'm gonna do is, remember the cuts we made earlier? I'm just gonna come along here and I'm gonna start pulling this skin back, freeing it up from the face. I mean, you don't wanna use a lot of crazy force. You know, you don't wanna try to rip this thing off here. But basically I'm just gently working along. Okay, we're working up towards the eyeball here, just applying gentle pressure to the skin. Alright, we're removing the eye here, just working along, applying gentle pressure. Alright, we loosened up everything from the skull, detached the ears, the eyes. We've already detached this from the body. I'm just going to take my hand and pull all this out. We're going to save this for reference. We cut it next to the body, so when we make our fake neck, we're going to use this as a guide. Alright guys, next we're going to talk about prepping the roast goose head for your bird that we're going to be mounting. We have 2 different bits here that we're going to be using to Dremel this head. This one right here, I'm going to clean out the back of this because our neck is going to insert into here. This one right here, I'm going to use it to clean out the nostril. I have my Dremel here. Just going to stick that inside there. Alright, this is really messy, makes a big mess. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, my Dremel. I'm just going to work it in there. What I'm trying to do is recreate a little hole in here like would be in a natural bill. And you're just going to keep working this until you get it to the shape that you want it to look. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to clean out the back of this because we're going to place our head in here. Alright guys, as you can see, this can be really messy. Alright guys, still got some stuff all over my face. But you can see we've cleared a notch out here on our roast goose. And this will allow us to insert our head. We're going to use some hot glue and we'll put it in there. Put our eyes in and we'll be ready to go. Alright, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we're going to be coming back and with part 2 of our roast goose. I think you're really going to enjoy this, and hopefully I can show you some things that you're going to profit from. And when you get ready to do your bird, it's going to help you out big time. So thanks again.